Hello everyone, and welcome to my GH Soap Opera Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.
General Hospital spoilers, Brook Lynn's dilemma, Wiley spills seeing Chase with Daddy's keys. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Brook Lynn Quartermaine might have quite the issue on her hands if Wiley Corinthos spills the beans to her about spotting Harrison Chase with his daddy's keys. There's a lot to understand here with this potential narrative surprise, so let's dive into it. In an attempt to blame Michael Corinthos for Drew Kane's shooting, Chase grabbed his once friend's keychain to check if he had a key to his nemesis's home. Of fact, Willow Kane was the one to sneak the key onto Michael's keychain during their child custody mediation as a ploy to implicate him for Drew's shooting. Having the kids 40% of the time is a start in the right way, but power-hungry Willow wants so much more. Back to Chase. When he found Michael's keychain on the Quartermaine kitchen floor, after he tested the assumption that Michael had Drew's home key, he dropped the item precisely where he initially spotted it. Still, not before Wiley had a bird's-eye view of what Chase was doing. Wiley is just a youngster, so at the time, he thought nothing of it, and hasn't told anybody what he's seen since, but once some drama hits the fan, the child may confide in someone close to him. As the PCPD now has Michael's keychain and has established there was a key to Drew's residence on it, the proverbial feces will hit the fan. Michael is sure to get arrested, and if Wiley is at the house when this happens, this might send the small child reeling. Brook Lynn has always functioned as a mother figure at the Quartermaine home whenever one of the kids is struggling, and she's always been extremely close to Wiley. If Wiley witnesses his father being hauled away, and the keychain as proof is mentioned, this might motivate him to go to someone he trusts to tell them what he witnessed. Will he go to Brook Lynn? Then, maybe Wiley doesn't witness his father being taken away, and merely repeats it to her whenever a similar issue comes up. If Michael is at the station, Brook Lynn may be the one to watch over Wiley in his absence. This would leave Brook Lynn in a very uncomfortable predicament. She doesn't want Michael to go to prison, but if she comes forward, she'll betray her husband. Not to mention the fact that Chase would lose his position at the PCPD and have zero prospects of becoming a detective again. After all, it was Chase who planted the idea to examine Michael's keychain to the officer in charge of Drew's shooting, Nathan West. While Chase didn't place Drew's home key on Michael's chain, Willow did. It'll appear extremely suspicious if the truth comes out. Chase has been on a spree to hang Michael to the wall for Drew's shooting, and his sketchiness about trying to exonerate Willow has gained a life of its own. The police station already suspects Chase tampered with evidence, so bringing this matter to their notice will only make things worse. The entire issue will impose a pressure on Chase's marriage to Brook Lynn, even if Wiley confides in someone else. However, if his own wife outs him, it might fast-track a split between the two. General Hospital rumors say that Brook Lynn loves her cousin Michael, and she loves Chase, but she's also someone who has learned that harboring secrets would only make matters worse, so will she walk directly to Dante Falconeri when Wiley confides in her, or talk to Chase first? She may not have the opportunity to contact Chase if Wiley insists. They go to the police immediately soon. Scout's daddy visit, Nathan interrogates Michael, Maxie comes home. Some major moments are on the way to Drew Kane's residence, where Alexis Davis will want to speak with him regarding Scout Quartermaine. Maxie Jones' homecoming bash will also play out while Nathan West quizzes Michael Corinthos, so some intriguing scenes are in store. At the PCPD, Dante Falconeri will encourage Nathan to take the lead on Michael's questioning, but Michael will sense that danger is building. Michael will get on the phone and voice worries about a potential police trap, but it appears like it'll be Rick Lansing who comes to his help instead of Diane Miller. Rick will finally make a surprising charge, so he may believe Michael is being set up. Michael will know that's the case as Drew's key arrived on his keychain out of the blue and is now being used against him. Will Michael point the finger at Willow Kane? Could Harrison Chase suffer some flack if it comes out that he prompted Nathan to check Michael's keys? After Maxie arrives home from Boston, she'll experience some nice reunions with her family and BFF. Lulu Spencer will catch up with Maxie and attempt to put her desire to Nathan in the rearview mirror, but it won't be so simple. Damian Spinelli will seek some help from Brook Lynn Quartermaine on a grand gesture for Maxie, so might a marriage proposal be in the cards, or does he have something else in mind? In the cemetery, Nathan will have the bizarre experience of viewing his own grave monument before someone else steps up for an unexpected talk. As for Brook Lynn, she'll please Chase by stating she's ready to begin the adoption process. Chase will be ready to raise a kid together, but Brook Lynn may eventually slam on the brakes owing to his involvement in the major upheaval that's exploding for Michael. In the meanwhile, It appears like Willow will add to Drew's agony, saying she aims to take over his place in Congress. Drew will be fed up over the paralytic condition Willow's locked him in with his medicine dosages. That's why Drew will seek to communicate a message to Alexis, who'll show up to discuss about Scout's approaching visit. Alexis will confess she'd like to bring Scout there, but she'll want to prepare her for the idea that Drew's not going to be able to speak very well. While Alexis is trying to handle this Scout issue, Drew will blink wildly and leaving Alexis wondering what's happening. Alexis will try her best to decode things, but Willow could interfere before Drew can let Alexis know much of anything. Then, Alexis may simply have to quit up if Drew can't convince her see that Willow's got a nasty plot. Willow will be desperate to hold the upper hand, especially when she finally gets Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos back in her arms. General Hospital spoilers indicate Willow will indeed hug Amelia and Wiley, so she'll never want to let them go again. RX for General Hospital's Luke tribute, the 5 scenes that must be included, plus, how the nostalgia trip plays out on screen. In Friday's episode of General Hospital, many of those who knew and loved Luke Spencer will assemble at the docks to pay respect to not just the legendary character but his Emmy-winning portrayer, the late Anthony Geary. The occasion? A snapshot takes Lulu down memory lane as she seeks to come to grips with her sadness over her father's loss, a grief that she was never able to properly digest, life in Port Charles flowing as rapidly as it does. By and by, Tracy, Laura, Carly, Elizabeth and Sunny are all attracted together to share their experiences of Luke. Through intimate conversations, memories and personal rituals, each character confronts how Luke shaped their lives, culminating in a collective celebration that affirms his enduring presence in their hearts, adds ABC. The episode closes on a quiet, hopeful note, honoring Luke's legacy as a force of love, chaos and connection that continues to ripple through Port Charles. Obviously, we are in for an emotional trip. But will it be a genuinely rewarding one? That varies. Among the flashbacks that are replayed have to be 5 crucial scenes from Luke's remarkable existence. They are 5. The morning after hangovers don't get much worse, or scenes more comic, than the 2005 one in which Luke, dressed in a sparkly cowboy attire, informed Tracy that the previous night they'd gotten soused and tied the knot in Vegas. Not only does the scene emphasize Geary's connection with Jane Elliott, it serves as a wonderful reminder that he was every bit as comfortable portraying humor as drama. 4. One-of-a-kind truer words were never said, or for that matter sung, than when Luke took down the house at the 2014 Nurses' Ball with his impassioned performance of the homosexual hymn, I Am What I Am from La Cage aux Falls. The performance might strive for 100 years to construct another Luke and fail each time. He was, as he sung, his own special creation. 3. A night to remember. Most of us would be hard pushed to think of being on the run from a mafia as the time of our life. But when Luke fled from Frank Smith in 1980 with Laura, the two of them definitely made the most of it. In particular, the evening that they spent dancing in Wyndham's department store was so romantic that it now left us weak-kneed just thinking about it. 2. A night to forget. Although Luke would regret it for the rest of his life, and Laura would finally forgive and fall in love with him, there is no ignoring the reality that he raped her in 1979. It wasn't a seduction, it wasn't a crime of passion, it was an act of violence. To overlook that crucial portion of his history, as awful as it is, would be to create an incomplete portrait of the man. 1. Wedding of the Millennium. Obviously, no Luke retrospective would be complete without a revisitation of his and Laura's wedding, probably the most opulent in daytime history and certainly the most watched. But we'll give the show additional points if it also involves rival Scotty disrupting Luke and Jennifer Smith's nuptials, sending the groom falling overboard into the drink. Now that we've covered the clips that the special must have, can we all agree on one memory that we could do without? No fluke nonsense, okay? GH sets up a forensic bombshell in Michael's favor. A forensic trace on Drew's key might turn the case for Michael's access to proof he was framed. The walls started closing in the second Nathan arrived at the Quartermains with a warrant on General Hospital. Michael handed over his keys because what else is he expected to do? If he refuses, he looks guilty. If he complies, he risks confirming exactly what the PCPD wants to uncover. Somewhere in that metal ring of regular house keys rests the one that reportedly gets him inside Drew's home. The program wants us looking at that key like it's fate. But the true drama may not be whether it fits the lock. It may be whether it ever belonged to him in the first place. Key takeaways. Nathan serves a warrant for Michael's home, putting his purported access to Drew's residence at the center of the case. If forensics discovers the key and tracks its serial number back to Tracy's original copy, it might indicate the key was never genuinely Michael's. The defense might flip from Michael had access to Michael was framed, putting focus onto the prosecution. Wiley spotted Chase fiddling with Michael's keys in the Quartermain kitchen. His testimony might bolster the planted evidence argument and undercut the allegations against Michael. The serial number that changes everything keys aren't just hunks of metal. They have histories, serial numbers, and paper trails. If the PCPD finds the key to Drew's residence on Michael's keychain, it will go to the forensics department. They could track it back to Tracy's initial order key to duplicate, and establish it was never authorized to Michael. This would force the PCPD's narrative to collapse in half. Suddenly, this is not about access. It's about ownership. Imagine Tracy on the stand, precise and unwavering, stating how many copies were created and for whom. Locksmith records line up. The use of the key gets traced from Tracy's hands to Willow's. What appeared like an open and shut hypothesis becomes a question mark. The defense would so recast the entire case with a single tidy pivot. Michael didn't have access, and someone placed it on him. That change doesn't only assist him. It puts the prosecution under a scrutiny. The Wiley problem no one can ignore, and then there's Wiley, a toddler who stepped into the kitchen at the wrong moment. He noticed Chase fumbling with Michael's keys while no one believed a young witness was observing. We never witnessed what transpired after that. Wiley doesn't need to comprehend the motive to understand what he observed. He observed Uncle Chase messing with his dad's keys. He observed them put on the floor where they should not have been. Even a little boy would wonder what Chase was doing. Layer it on top of a serial number related to Tracy, and the case begins to feel less like proof and more like choreography. If the key is confirmed placed and a youngster backs up that it was handled suspiciously, the courtroom does not only tilt. It detonates. What starts as a search warrant might end as humiliating vaudeville. And this time, the forensic science could be the loudest voice in the room. Is Kelly Thiebaud leaving General Hospital, again? General Hospital comings and goings confirmed that Steve Burton is quitting the serial soon. However, speculations imply Jason Morgan isn't the only figure that will be hustled off the canvas. Is Steve Burton bringing fan-darling Kelly Thiebaud with him? Steve Burton departing General Hospital last week. Word surfaced that Steve Burton was going on break and his character will be departing the serial drama for many months. The Jason Morgan portrayer stated that this wasn't farewell, it was see you later, and he wanted to come back in the summer. Then it dawned on supporters, if Jason Morgan was leaving Port Charles, then he is probably going to take Britt Westbourne with him. Kelly Thiebaud started on General Hospital back in 2012 as Britt Westbourne. As the daughter of Caesar Faison, she has been engaged in various significant tales throughout the years. In 2023, Thiebaud's character was killed off and she departed the drama for 2 years. It was found in 2025 that Britt Westbourne had survived and was being kept hostage in Croatia. As soon as she returned to Port Charles, Britt and Jason Morgan reconciled. Britt Westbourne needs to find a new medical supply. Over the years, Britt's fight with Huntington's disease has been extensively publicized on General Hospital. It also is her Achilles heel. Britt is working at the hospital, but still technically being kept prisoner because she requires her Huntington medicines to survive. Jason and Britt had been sneaking around together for months, and strategizing on releasing her from the WSB's clutches and finding her a new source for her medicines. If Jason Morgan is leaving town, then it may be because he's attempting to get Britt help and save her. More than likely he would take the patient with him, and that implies Kelly Thiebaud will depart with him. How do you think Steve Burton's character is going to be written off General Hospital? Is he going to take Britt with him? General Hospital spoilers week of February 23rd, Maxie's Nathan verdict, Michael's arrest mess, Cullum's next move. General Hospital teasers for the week of February 23rd to 27th state that Maxie Jones will need to deliver her Nathan West verdict while Michael Corinthos might be gearing up for an arrest issue. Ross Cullum will ultimately make his next move as well, so let's explore what GH fans should expect. Following Maxie's homecoming celebration, she'll have a lot weighing on her. Once Maxie sees Nathan, she'll have to determine if she thinks her husband has genuinely come back from the tomb. If Maxie does believe this is Nathan, then she may find herself split between him and Damian Spinelli. Spinelli will make it clear that he still wants a future with Maxie, so she'll be an emotional disaster about all this. Over with Michael, he might get jailed if the cops learn out he has a key to Drew Kane's residence. Nathan recently took Michael's keys from him, so he'll likely fall in hot water shortly. Michael might get handcuffs put on him at some time, so don't miss any legal drama ahead. Of course, we can't overlook the fact that Wiley Corinthos observed Harrison Chase dropping Michael's keys on the Quartermaine kitchen floor. Will Wiley tell that to Brook Lynn Quartermaine or expose someone else to Chase's dubious conduct instead? Regardless, Willow Kane should be thrilled once she hears details on Michael's new legal mess. It may leave Willow feeling like she's one step closer to having full custody after Michael's in prison. As for Jen Sidwell, he may veto Laura Collins when it comes to her decision to replace Drew in Congress. Laura wants to offer Alexis Davis's name to the governor, but will Sidwell compel her to suggest Willow instead? At some time, Kai Taylor may wish to check on Drew and watch Willow's activities at the residence. Willow is drugging Drew to keep him comatose, so may Kai see or hear anything that leaves him suspicious. Next, Cullum may have a few surprises up his sleeve. It may be time for Cullum to make another move and disturb some Port Charles residents in the process. If Cullum finds out or already knows about Britt Westbourne messing around with Jason Morgan, it might place Jason in the danger zone. As for Jocelyn Jacks, Cullum will undoubtedly discover out that she's a WSB agent sooner or later. Jack Brennan may have his job cut out for him when it comes to defending Jocelyn after that happens. General Hospital spoilers predict the week of February 23rd to 27th will offer some stunning news and huge narrative shakeups, so stay tuned. Willow told Nina about taking Drew's congressional seat visiting Crimson. Nina offered to Willow that they organize a party for Wiley and Amelia Corinthos as they will be visiting her house more regularly. Willow felt it was an excellent idea and agreed, adding they had all experienced a lot and more obstacles were coming. She added that Michael Corinthos only took shared custody to avoid a visitation court, afraid he may lose custody if charged with Drew's shooting. Additionally, several of Drew's political supporters wanted her to continue his time in Congress. Nina regarded this as a fantastic chance, but Willow hesitated, stating she understood little about federal politics. Nina reassured her that she had exceptional people skills and was wonderful as a spokesman for the New Tomorrow Institute. Nina promised to be Willow's secret weapon. She promised to be Willow's secret weapon for high-level introductions like she did for Drew during his campaign. Unlike Drew, who exploited his position for personal payback, Nina felt people would connect with Willow, allowing her to actually aid her constituency. With only a year remaining in Drew's tenure, Willow might step away if she didn't like it. She was unsure, especially as she was set to reclaim custody of her children and care for Drew. Nina claimed that Michael would adjust to her schedule. She pushed her to consider about admitting Drew to a facility. Additionally, Nina reminded out that if Drew couldn't finish his term, Willow would be his first option to take over. A guilty Lulu opened up to her mother Laura about the Nathan Maxie situation. Lulu Spencer was both delighted and apprehensive about Maxie Jones waking up. She sought Laura's guidance as Maxie was coming home to her boyfriend, Nathan West. Laura reassured Lulu that her love for Nathan didn't weaken her support for Maxie's family and Damian Spinelli in recent months. Lulu maintained that her affections for Nathan only formed because Maxie was missing, and Maxie deserved to recover her life. When Laura attempted to soothe her, Lulu, feeling terrible, stated a genuine friend wouldn't kiss her best friend's spouse and justify pursuing him. Laura refused to let Lulu feel guilty. Laura would not allow Lulu to keep feeling guilty, pointing out that Maxie was unaware Nathan was alive when she went into a coma and had already moved on with Spinelli. Nevertheless, Lulu was confident that Nathan's reappearance would alter everything for Maxie, who had suffered terribly from his death years before. Sensing that Lulu had deeper feelings for Nathan than she admitted, Laura inquired if Lulu had talked to Nathan about it. Lulu admitted she hadn't, since she assumed Nathan would be happy to reunite with Maxie since he never stopped loving her. Laura thought Nathan was pleased about Maxie, but bewildered as Lulu. Laura chuckled, thinking that Nathan was likely pleased about Maxie being awake, yet just as bewildered as Lulu, and she shouldn't attempt to comprehend his emotions. Wishing her complicated feelings would simply vanish, Lulu thought that Maxie and Nathan were entitled to a joyous finale. But she actually felt sorrow for Spinelli and imagined he would selflessly move aside so Maxie and Nathan might come together. Reflecting about Spinelli experiencing such agony, Lulu sighed, understanding it was lucky that she and Nathan had barely began their adventure, even if it didn't feel that way. Laura smiled understandingly.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe my channel without missing any update.